Hello everybody, my name is Cotangent Theta and this is Over Optimistic. This time we're about to take a look at a match on Dorado, as you can see, and I end up playing Mercy through this entire... Well, we get a bit of a sorry situation at the beginning here, where unfortunately we seem to be in a situation where we have 6 DPS mains on the team. Fortunately, I'm able to flex. It looks like... That's ridiculous. It looks like some of them are able to flex as well. I'm just going to pause this here and jump forward because the team comp we end up with is it's a little better than this. Alright, we're going to get started here. What we did end up with is we do have a soldier here. We've got our Rhine and Diva down there. We've got me as a healer. We're going to see. I don't remember if we had another healer up here. No, we got a Genji. And then Ana, we have an Ana, yeah. So we ended up with 2-2-2 miraculously. So I'm just going down to try to heal. Oh my goodness, alright. So let's take a look at this. That was not so good. So he goes in. I spent way too much time. I didn't switch healing targets nearly fast enough. Yeah, that was... Honestly, I didn't think that you could screw up your aim as Mercy, but that's pretty much what just happened there. I screwed up my aim and didn't actually heal the right person, which is pretty sad. So obviously those reses were impossible, but this res is very realistic. Now they've got this Bastion, wow, and they've got a Widow, and they've got a Moira, who just snuck up behind me and killed me.
Yeah, we gotta reset.
At that point we had lost. I probably should have called for us to all get out of there sooner, except we really couldn't retreat, could we? We should have just tried to lay low and wait for everyone to come in from the other side. Right? We could have taken that Moira if the soldier was still alive, if he hadn't gotten sniped. So it would have been better to be like, alright soldier, hide, don't get killed. And then when the Moira came, we would have been ready for that. So I'm up here, I'm coming with our Junkrat, just whatever Junkrat's gonna do. Why did I pull out my pistol? Whatever Junkrat's gonna do, and Pharah, it's great to damage boost. Those guys, they're so bursty. Obviously not as good as damage boosting a Bastion. That's extremely good. Alright, so I'm just sort of floating around here, trying to do as much healing as possible. It looks like we're actually doing alright here. So, I managed to get out of line of sight of that sniper. Now, with the situation, we seem to actually be doing quite well here. Oh, that was bad aim. I could have finished that Junkrat if I had better aim. What I should do is make I haven't thought of it as being very important for Mercy, but I should have like a custom crosshair, like a big circle crosshair that I can use to aim my shots better. So basically the idea behind that, I have it for Zenyatta. I don't remember if I've played Zenyatta since I got that. Played Zenyatta for one of these videos. But what you basically do is you have the angle represented by the radius of your crosshair circle equal the angle that a person is going to move across your field of view before your projectile gets to them. So that was unfortunate. That was really unfortunate right there because I used my ultimate and he managed to actually get me out of the sky, which is kind of impressive. But I guess it is a very large projectile that he has. We still seem to have won this thanks to our Pharah's ultimate though. Junkrat was very kind to taxing me over. Now I'm gonna just sort of boost over there and get some healing in. Heal this Reinhardt. Oh my god, I'm pretty sure I saved that Reinhardt's ass. Alright. So this is good. I'm already halfway to ult, but I'm sure they built up a ton of ultimate charge on our Reinhardt as well. I should be getting a little bit more out of sight here, like being behind the wall as much as I can. Uh-oh. That's going to be a problem. Very lucky that he guessed wrong, I guess, which side I was on, or he just wasn't looking. Because if he had been looking through the choke, he should have been able to easily see where I was, because I wasn't keeping my position really hidden very well. Alright, so this is a little risky here. I'm just trying to fly around. It's less risky than it would be with, like, a hit scan. Like Junkrat, it's really tough for Junkrat to hit like flying targets that are just zooming back and forth across. He can maybe get a concussion mine off for sure, but it would be a lot harder for him. That was a nice shot from Widow. See, the Widow is probably the real danger there, although maybe she wouldn't have the reflexes to get a perfect headshot. But like a body shot and a concussion mine would be able to take me out, so it's still important for me to be careful if they're both watching out for me. But what I was saying is, against a hit scan, they can almost always get like a shot off on you at least, whereas Junkrat, it's very hard for him to aim his grenades. So that was unfortunate. So I used my ultimate there. Let's go back and talk about that, because I felt like that should have been like a win when I popped my ultimate. Oh, it was a win. Wow. I'm gonna go back behind and take a look at this anyway from when I started my ultimate. So over here, I have Valkyrie. We see one critical. I can't go and heal them. Where is our Ana? I guess our Ana is back there. And then it becomes 3 criticals. So that was the point where I decided to heal. Which is a little bit questionable because they're not all grouped up together, but I can at least fly back and forth between targets over here. It's like, oh, that's so sad. They were out of range of each other, the Junkrat and the Pharah. Like, fucking group up if you want healing. That's the idea of this whole ultimate. What I like to do with the ultimate, I guess it's the same as with any situation with Mercy, where what I like to do with the ultimate is just default to the damage beam, and then when I see anyone on the team become critical, then I switch to the healing beam for a little bit. Unless, obviously, they're using an ultimate or something, in which case it's just, the healing is just more important than anything else. Because they can do probably huge amounts of damage to everyone.
Top left.
Alright. So I was able to use the Pharah. Unfortunately, the D.Va didn't come back to let me fly over there, but I was patient and waited for the Pharah to get into a good position so that I could actually fly up there. And that's unfortunate. Alright, so this is sort of a movement problem, right? I could have played this better. What I like to do now is never Guardian Angel back down to someone. What I like to do now is I get up onto the ledge where the high ground is, and then I just sort of do these alternating runs of back and forth. I just jump off and I float off to the other people and do whatever healing I need or damage boosting. Or I continue healing or damage boosting the person on the high ground if that's what's needed. And then I use my Guardian Angel to get back up, because it's very tricky with the angles a lot of the time, and if they're not being aware of making it easy for you to come back, which is almost always the case at Platinum, no one's thinking about, oh, is it easy for my Mercy to come up to me? A lot of people aren't thinking about that. So the best thing to do is never to actually touch ground on the low ground. Just float over them and do what you need to do in quick bursts. Alright, so this was a questionable ultimate. I'm going to finish what I was talking about with the movement and positioning. Just float over the people on the low ground a bit. You can make yourself a little bit harder to hit for the enemy by sometimes dropping a teeny bit. Just take your finger off the jump key for a second. And then Guardian Angel right back up to the high ground. It's easy to get to the low ground. It's hard a lot of the time to get to the high ground because of angles. Now let's talk about this ultimate. Why? I guess I wanted the Tracer. But what am I thinking? Obviously, if the Tracer died, it's dangerous to go there, right? And it looks like there's at least 3 people there, right? We've got our Moira, we've got Widow, and then somewhere up here where this rocket came from seems to be a Pharah, unless that's our Pharah, which I didn't think they had a Pharah. Now I'm just showing how little I've been paying attention to their team composition, which is obviously a very common game sense and awareness issue that I have while playing the game. No, that's our Pharah. I managed to get the res, but unfortunately, it's kind of like I blew the Valkyrie just for that and then killed myself. That's not worth it. In general, it's not worth it even if you die to get a regular res off, but I guess we managed to hold them, so it didn't matter in the end, but it was still a bad Valk and a bad res. I didn't realize, I guess, that she was going to be behind the wall and so difficult to get to. Alright, let's jump ahead to our attacking phase. That was quite a surprisingly good hold, considering 4 out of 6 of us were flexing. I guess you can't really call my Mercy pick a flex, because I sort of co-main Mercy now, because I have a pretty strong Mercy, actually. I have almost a 2/3 win rate with Mercy at Platinum, so that's quite good, I think. I'm going to jump ahead to the start of this round, and we're going to see what the enemy is pulling out. They might have a Bastion again, because they had a Bastion on point A attack. Bastion is sort of an alright pick on point A defense, too, because it'll break down shields. It's good if you put him over on the left, on the high ground. Let me just, okay, I don't really have a good view of what I want to show you, but you know, the high ground over here. Because then you get everyone as they're coming around this corner, you can just shoot down on them, like that. So that's generally a thing you want to do. And of course, if you have like a soldier or a Rhine, usually they'll stand there just to shoot a Helix rocket or a Fire Strike in and try to get some ultimate charge, but you don't generally want to hold there, because they can sort of see you right out of spawn. They have huge spawn advantage. They have huge sight lines to you. You want to take advantage of sight lines and get a bit better of a spawn situation while you are at it. So, let's go ahead here. That was sort of, yeah, let's go ahead here. So I was terrified that I just fell off the map just then, but that's not how this map works, fortunately. Yeah, I'm just trying to stay behind everyone. Alright, I managed to get up here just in time to save that D.Va. That was very fortunate. So I'm not turning to look on my flanks quite as often as I should. I need to be turning constantly to see if my team needs healing, but I'm not really doing that much. Fortunately, my team had the Orisa barrier. They weren't taking too much damage, so that was fortunate for me. Sometimes, quite a lot of the time, I get burned where there are flankers and I don't notice them because I'm not looking around. You got to abuse that as Mercy, right? Abuse the fact that you have this auto lock on and that you can just turn and check your corner, because that information is so huge. You want to be always looking out and making these calls for where people are as Mercy. So I put it back a bit because I want to point out sort of a movement error here, right? Over here, it's a bad idea for me to fly past her by hitting jump and canceling my Guardian Angel there. That put me in a lot of danger. Why am I taking out my pistol here? Okay. Alright. We'll take it. I guess at that range, right? The thing with Mercy's pistol is it actually does more damage than damage boosting almost anyone else in the game. But the thing is, it's quite hard to hit that kind of weapon because it is a fairly slow projectile. So if you're at point blank range, the speed of the projectile doesn't matter, and the fact that it is actually a huge projectile as opposed to a hit scan is actually an advantage and not a drawback. So if someone is just trying to stall the payload, it can actually be valuable for you to just take out your pistol and shoot at them instead of damage boosting someone. So I managed to... Oh, that's unfortunate. D.Va shouldn't have dropped there. She wasn't aware of my presence. It would be great if me and Ana communicated a little bit more about who we're going to heal, because I'm acting sort of like I'm solo healing when I could be leaving more things to Ana. That's something I'm sure higher level teams do.
I got nano for you if you're close, Genji.
Yeah, I used my Guardian Angel there to get down. Don't use your Guardian Angel to get down. I'll say it again. I've done it multiple times here. Don't use your Guardian Angel to go down from the high ground. Just float down, use Guardian Angel to get back up before you touch down. That's the best way to be able to always not let the people on the high ground die, because I've definitely been caught out in situations where the person on the high ground is, like, they're critical health, but they won't come to the edge. They can't come to the edge because the enemy can shoot them more easily. Just float down from the high ground. Never Guardian Angel off of high ground. So that was about it. There wasn't anything too challenging there, but there was definitely just a few little tips and tricks that you can learn, that you can take away from that I wasn't doing in that video, that I've figured out and started doing since then, and I can look back on that and say, hey, if you're doing this, maybe this looks like your gameplay. You're sort of Guardian Angeling down from high ground. Hopefully you can figure that out and be more aware of that next time. And just have a little bit better movement as Mercy. Mercy, honestly, is one of the most important heroes in this game. And a lot of the time, like, if your team doesn't have a Mercy, she's still so strong with her incredible, reliable healing, her Resurrect. If your team has good teamwork, they'll protect you when you do the Resurrection. She is still by far the strongest healer in the game. And let's not even talk about her ultimate. Like, that's crazy, right? 20 seconds. If there's one thing they need to do to nerf Mercy, it's take down that ultimate. But overall, she's like a good, strong hero. And very important to learn, very important to know how to stay alive and how to get around the map and get to your team. So that's what this episode of Over Optimistic was about. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. I hope you all have a great day, and remember, if something's worth doing, it's worth doing badly.